Y'all, today we have some crazy big news that a lot of people are talking about. But if you don't know about this, it's big. People have been asking about this for years. Basically, right, there was a patch to the game today. There was a lot of changes that, you know, like the Hydra pet ban, stuff like that. But within the files, there was also something else that certain people that data mine were able to pick up on. It looks like Wizard101 just added some new stuff for a user interface that could only be accessed through a console. Now, what does that mean? That means that whether we end up with this soon or not, WIZ has officially started putting time, money, resources into releasing WIZ on console. So obviously it looks like, you know, very early gates, but basically based on, you know, the people that data mine this, I will link their tweet in the description. The new tech that just got added basically can distinguish what console that you're logging on to, so you can basically access the Wizard101 servers. Now, I would argue this is a big deal because we haven't had an update on the state of Wizard101 on console for several months. They did do like an article on, I want to say, MMORPG.com several months ago saying that it wasn't out of the possibility. Now, well, that's cool and all. This is the first time that we've seen actual confirmation that this is coming to the game. Obviously, the bright side is that some people that wouldn't have played the game before, they are going to be playing it now, which I would argue for a lot of people, that's why they want to see the game on console. But to me, if they're really going to put all this time and energy into something like this, I hope they do it right. I want to talk about all the things that I'm a little bit concerned about as someone who also wants this on console. One thing right away that I really hope happens is that there's you don't have to restart your wizard when you start on a console. And why am I pointing this out, right? One of the things that Wizard101 did somewhat recently, I guess it's been a few years now actually, but in order to increase their player base, instead of making it so that you could access the game on PC through their website and their launcher, they also listed Wizard101 on Steam. Now, while that's really cool because a ton of people only play games through Steam, this is a way to, like, you know, tap into new audiences. Let's say that you were to have already made an account using the Wizard101 website through their launcher, you would have to restart if you did it on Steam. So unless there's a way to connect your accounts, and I hope that is a possibility, or at least maybe a way to reach out to support to copy over the data on your account over to, like, you know, your data on a console. Unless there's a way to do that, I feel like a ton of people that would play on console because that's just their preferred method, they just won't because they're not trying to start over again. It's been 15 years. I would never start over my entire account, even if it meant I could play a little bit more comfortably, because why would I do that? Right, when you add things to grind for, like, you know, all these developments, nobody's trying to restart this, nobody's trying to level up to max, nobody's trying to do all that. Now, while that doesn't apply for people that have never played the game that would find it for the first time through console, if the servers aren't actually, you know, overlapped, then that is a big factor, because for a lot of people, they're gonna see empty servers if people aren't, like, you know, playing when they otherwise would. And that brings us to the second point. Will this be like a cross-play thing? I feel like, again, this is so early because it's just data mine files. It's probably extremely early stages, so we don't know. But I think that's another big question, right? Let's say that you logged on a console. Are you going to be able to interact with people that are logged on through the PC? Like, are the servers, you know, interconnected? Obviously, other games do have crossplay enabled, but I don't know if that's something that's, like, you know, even more time and resources. Will this extend the wait for this to release? Is this going to be something that happens maybe not at first, but they're gonna do it? Right? There's a lot of questions there too, but I do think that will also be very integral to the success of this whole thing. Now, beyond all that, I can't help but wonder how a lot of the stuff that you actually do that's, like, you know, social based, right? Like socializing. I wonder how that would work on console, because yes, you have a drop down menu where you can say stuff. You know, you can give compliments. Honestly, if y'all don't know this about me, I was dead ass a menu chat player until I turned 18, which was in college. So yes, I literally had menu chat until I was like a grown ass man, literally. And I communicated with this. It wasn't awful. I'm still playing the game, so you could argue that this might be enough, but I do think it's hard enough to type that maybe they need to do more things that you could say so that you can, especially if you're getting to, like, you know, even like level 30 or level 60 where some of these new dungeons are happening, where there's a little bit more intricate teamwork involved. I feel like sometimes the drop-down menus aren't enough. So maybe just for, like, I don't know how much extra work this would be, but specifically for dungeons, right? Like Waterworks, Mount Olympus, Tartarus, that type of stuff that you'll probably end up doing with other people. I think they might need to update some of these drop-downs so they're a little bit more specific without, I guess, giving away the cheats, for example. I'll say this though, they did do stuff already that I think might have actually been a giveaway that they were planning to do, like a console thing. Like, I don't know if y'all know about the drop down menu that you could add for emotes, where you can basically, right now, what you have to do, right, you have to go all the way to emotes here. You have to, like, equip them, onto like the radial menu, and then you can click the radial menu and then you can do it. That's a lot on PC, but I assume on a controller or something, that could be way, way easier to do. I feel like that's almost made for controllers. So certain iconic parts of Wiz are actually probably going to be easier if they actually go through with this. I do worry about the socializing part, the teamwork part, but considering that they've already put tech into like just emoting, what I think might happen is maybe you could like bind certain key phrases or something, and also maybe have a few more customized drop-down menus if you enter dungeons with more specific actions that need to take place. Now, to me, this brings up the million-dollar question, in my opinion, literally $1 million question. Will Wiz come out on mobile? This is to me, listen, I'm not trying to hate on anyone that loves console, but to me, I feel like mobile is the really, really big one. And there's a lot of reasons I say this. One, I don't think Wiz has had a great history with mobile games, but clearly they know kind of what to do about it. They've done stuff in the mobile game area where it hasn't been that successful, but I feel like with a big name like Wiz, where a lot of people would play it on mobile, like I feel like it could be a whole ass different story. I just think that mobile is a lot easier to market to people. It's a lot easier to get people to sign up. It's a lot easier to advertise. A lot of sponsorships are a lot easier to do when it's a mobile game, right? The fact of the industry is that it is easier to grow a mobile game with microtransactions than it is something on just a PC or just a console. To me, while the console is a great, great place to start, I hope this just means that we're going to see even more platforms where we can play and enjoy Wizard101. And you know, my dream one day is to whip out my phone, do my garden while I'm using the toilet or something. That would be elite. So hopefully, as we learn more about this, they're also open to giving us details on the future of that. All in all, y'all, standard disclaimer obviously applies. These are leaks, meaning like these aren't things that they have like, you know, announced. These are just extremely early phase things. There's always a chance that this doesn't end up happening because it's not worth the resources. But I do think beyond all of that, there is still something to celebrate in the fact that this is something that wouldn't have been in the scope of possibility even a few years ago. I think with a lot of people seeing a lot of the changes that are coming into the game, you know, maybe the loss of nostalgia, maybe even something as serious as that. While those things might happen, I do think it's important to celebrate the fact that Wiz has come a long ass way, and the fact that we're even having convos like this, it really shows that it might still have so much more room to grow. So if all I did today was inform you that this is even a possibility, that's amazing, because honestly, maybe we can push for it more, especially if this is something that affects you. But let me know what you guys think about the fact that it's coming out. Let me know if you guys think that they could do something with the release on console that would be different than the release on Steam, so it's a little bit more successful. And I'd love to hear all of y'all's thoughts on how exactly you would play on a console and what they could do to make it better, because I bet they're looking for feedback as well. Let me know if y'all are excited. I look forward to reading all of y'all's comments on this. Drop a like if you enjoyed, leave a sub if you're new, and as always, if somebody hasn't told you you're awesome today, they doing something wrong. Stay awesome. See y'all soon. And yeah.